Okay, some football news. Southampton have been relegated from the Premier League with 7 matches remaining. This follows a 3-1 defeat to Tottenham Hotspur, which means there's only 21 points left available, and Wolves in 17th are 22 points clear of Southampton in last place. Wolves have 32 points, Southampton have 10, and so they can't bridge that gap. Now, Ipswich and Leicester most likely are the other two clubs that will end up getting relegated. Ipswich are only 7 points above Southampton in the table, and Ipswich are only 3 points above that, and they've got a 10-point gap to Wolves. So it's looking highly likely that the 3 promoted sides will be the 3 sides relegated, although in what order, we shall wait and see, because Southampton still have 7 matches to play. But this means it's the earliest relegation in Premier League history. Even the woefully bad Derby County, with an 11-point total, got relegated later in the season when it was mathematically impossible for them to stay up. And some of the bad Sunderland sides as well, who had some awful points totals, also were relegated later in the season. Now, Southampton so far have played 31 matches. They've won just 2. They have drawn 4. And they've lost a grand total of 25 matches in the league so far this season. They've got a goal difference of -51, which is atrocious, for a grand total, as I say, of 10 points. Now, Derby County's low points record of 11 points may be safe. Southampton may pick up enough points in the remaining 7 games to avoid that low total, or they could lose their next 7 games. So we shall see at the end of the season if Derby County's points record of the lowest points total in a season is broken by Southampton. The Swindon Town holds the record for the worst defence with over 100 goals conceded. Now, will they be that bad? There's still 7 matches left. That could be 7 heavy defeats. The goal differential could really blow out. Or they could play spoiler for the teams above them and potentially win all 7 remaining games for 21 points, which would still leave them short of safety, because if Wolves lose every remaining game, they cannot be overtaken. And we don't know what Ipswich and Leicester are going to do, but they're also equally bad. Leicester are only 7 points above Southampton at this point. Ipswich aren't much further ahead than that. I think they're 12 points ahead, so both the other 2 promoted sides are also having pretty horrific seasons, and it looks very likely that all 3 promoted sides will get relegated at the end of this season, which actually doesn't happen as often as you think, and I'm going to have to do a video looking into that. So, where do Southampton go from here? Well, they're going to obviously have to have a complete rethink in the Championship. Ownership is going to have to look at how things have gone wrong. The board are going to have to look at how things have gone wrong. The fans, they keep turning up week in, week out. It's been abysmal. There is no other way to hide it. And that Derby County record could potentially be broken, although I can see Southampton picking up more points than Derby County did. But they now hold a record of the earliest official relegation in Premier League history since the 92-93 season. Even Swindon Town, who were horrendous, and a couple of bad Sunderland squads, were never relegated this early in a Premier League season. Even that record-breakingly bad Derby County side were not relegated this early in a season. So things have gone very, very wrong at Southampton, and there's going to be a lot of soul-searching and a lot of rebuilding to do. And a lot of these players haven't covered themselves in glory. The board hasn't covered themselves in glory. Their transfer policy's got to be questioned, and some of the decision-making needs to be looked at. But they could have one season in the Championship and bounce straight back, but I do think there's going to be a wholesale squad overhaul. Of that there is no doubt, but it's a very passionate, loyal fan base. They've got a fantastic youth academy, so there's always talent coming through the Southampton system, which is a positive. They've got a fantastic stadium and other facilities, so this is not a club without assets, but this season has been dreadful. They've really got their transfer policy wrong this year. They changed manager partly through the year. That hasn't changed things. And I always say this, clubs that regularly chop and change manager generally struggle, and that's what's happened to Southampton. So they have been relegated from the Premier League. Will they jump back straight after one season, or will it take longer for them to rebuild in the Championship, which is notoriously known to be a very tough league to get out of? And many ex-Premier League sides have spent many seasons stuck in the Championship, and some have even slipped down to League One and League Two over the years and have struggled to get back. And if you're Oldham Athletic, they've slipped out the Football League. So it can be a slippery slope if things start to snowball. Southampton have been in League One before, so they have dropped down the divisions before after falling out the Premier League on a previous occasion, and that is a danger. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do in the summer with the playing squad, how much more emphasis they put on youth development to help rebuild this squad, and how long it takes them to get back from the Championship back to the Premier League. Do they stick in the Championship for a few seasons, or do they actually end up getting relegated and having back-to-back relegations? Anything's possible. But from me for now, thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts on Southampton's dreadful season in the comments section below. And they've still got 7 matches left, which anything could happen. They could play spoiler, or they could completely fall apart. So anything could happen in the next 7 matches. Let's keep an eye on that points total. Let's see if they end up with a lower points total than Derby, or a better points total than Derby did. And could this be the only record of negativity they hold with the earliest relegation in Premier League history? Will they break Derby County's low points total? Swindon Town's defensive record, for example? Could those unwanted records also end up Southampton's way? But from me for now, thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts in the comments section below, and I will have some more content for you all very, very soon.